Welcome back to the channel everyone. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in British numismatic history, a coin that many people might overlook in their change without realizing its potential value. We are talking about the United Kingdom 2p coin from the year 1988. Now before we dive into the value and what makes this coin so interesting, let us begin with a little bit of history. The 2p coin was first introduced into circulation in 1971 as part of decimalisation. This was the time when the United Kingdom moved from the old pound, shillings and pence system to the decimal currency we know today. The coin was initially made from bronze and weighed around 7.12 grams with a diameter of 25.9 millimeters. On the obverse or the front of the coin we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and on the reverse or the back we see the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, which is a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet with a ribbon bearing the motto ICHDN, which translates from German as I serve. But the story of the 2p coin is not only about design, it is also about the changes in inscription and the minting errors that make certain years far more valuable than others. Originally the words on the reverse of the coin said new pence from 1971 up until 1981, but in 1982 the inscription changed to 2p, so if you find a coin from after 1982 that still carries the words new pence, that is a significant error and highly collectible. Now let us talk specifically about the year 1988. At first glance you might think it is just an ordinary coin, still part of the 2p series. It carries the Raphael McLouth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was used from 1985 to 1997. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem. The reverse as always features the badge of the Prince of Wales. But here is what collectors pay attention to when we talk about the 1988 2p coin. The mintage figure for this year was not extraordinarily low, but the condition in which these coins survive and the presence of any misstrikes or errors can push the value significantly higher. For example, a standard circulated 1988 2p coin might only be worth its face value or slightly more, perhaps between 50p to a couple of pounds depending on the condition. However, if you come across an uncirculated, brilliant uncirculated or proof version, especially those struck for collector sets, the value rises quite a lot. These coins can fetch between £5 to £20 and sometimes even more if they are graded and encapsulated by a professional grading service. But the real excitement comes when we talk about error coins. If you were to find a 1988 2p coin that mistakenly has the inscription new pence instead of 2p, that is where collectors open their wallets wide. Such a coin is extremely rare, because by 1988 the Royal Mint had been striking the correct inscription 2p for several years already, so any error pieces that escaped into circulation are worth hundreds and in some cases thousands of pounds depending on the condition. This is why it is so important to always check your change carefully. That ordinary looking brown coin might actually be hiding a treasure. So let us break down the current market values as of today. A regular circulated 1988 2p coin in average condition will not usually sell for more than its face value. A nice example in extremely fine condition could bring in up to £1 or £2. A brilliant uncirculated coin could be in the range of £5 to £15. A proof coin from a mint set can sometimes achieve values of £20 to £30, but a genuine 1988 error coin with a new pence inscription could be worth anywhere between several hundred to over £1,000 depending on rarity, condition and demand at the time of sale. Now why does this matter to collectors and why is the 2p coin such a hot topic? It is because coin collecting is not only about precious metals or face value, it is about history, rarity and the story behind each piece. The 1988 2p coin tells the story of how small errors or small details can make a massive difference in value. It also reflects the period of change during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and the ongoing tradition of British coinage, which is admired all over the world. So the next time you check your wallet, your purse or even an old jar of coins in your house, take a careful look at those 2p coins. Check the date, check the inscription and look closely for any minting errors. Who knows, you might be holding a tiny piece of history worth far more than you imagine. Collectors often say the thrill is in the hunt, and when it comes to coins like the 1988 2p, that statement could not be more true. Whether you are a casual collector, a serious numismatist or just someone curious about coins, this little copper-plated disc can open the door to a fascinating world of history, culture and value. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you found this deep dive into the 1988 United Kingdom 2p coin both informative and exciting. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you do not miss any of our upcoming episodes where we explore the hidden treasures in everyday change. Share this video with your friends and family as well. You never know who might have one of these coins sitting around in their collection. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of coins and collectibles. And in this video we are focusing on a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but can actually hold surprising history and value. Yes, we are talking about the 1996 United Kingdom 2p coin. If you have one of these tucked away in a drawer or jar of loose change, you might want to listen carefully because it could be worth a lot more than you think. Let's start with a little history. The 2p coin, or 2p as many call it, was first introduced in 1971 when the United Kingdom switched over to decimal currency. The design featured the famous badge of the Prince of Wales with the 3 ostrich feathers and the motto ICHDN, which means I serve in German. For decades this design remained a familiar sight in British pockets and purses. By the 1990s, millions of 2p coins were minted every year, but not all coins are created equal, and that is where the story of the 1996 issue gets interesting. In 1996 the Royal Mint struck more than 600 million 2p coins. Most of these were struck in bronze just like the earlier issues, but during this time period there were experiments and changes happening with coin metals. That means collectors often keep an eye out for special variations or minting errors that can make a common coin rare and valuable. Now here's the part that grabs the attention of collectors worldwide. Although the 1996 2p is a modern coin, certain conditions and errors can push its value way above face value. For example, if your coin was misstruck, perhaps with a double image or an off-center strike, it could fetch between £50 and £150 depending on how dramatic the error is. Some collectors have even paid more for coins with clear and obvious mistakes, but what about ordinary well-preserved examples? A standard circulated 1996 2p is generally worth its face value of 2p. However, uncirculated examples, especially those kept in mint condition straight from a Royal Mint set, can sell for between £2 and £5. That might not sound like a fortune, but it is still many times its face value. And if you happen to find one in absolutely pristine condition graded highly by a professional coin grading service, then prices can jump significantly. Here's another fascinating point. Some 1996 2p coins were issued in collector's sets with proof quality strikes. Proof coins are specially made using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish. These proof issues are highly sought after, and depending on demand they can fetch anywhere from £10 to £20 or even more when sold to the right buyer. The coin market is constantly changing. A coin that seems common today may suddenly rise in demand tomorrow if collectors start chasing after a particular year or variety. For example, not long ago coins with the inscription New Pence instead of 2p from earlier years suddenly spiked in value because of collector demand. The same can happen to the 1996 issue if a special variety is discovered or if interest in that year suddenly increases. Let's talk about how to identify whether your 1996 2p coin could be worth something special. First, check the condition. If it looks shiny, crisp, and has almost no scratches, it may be considered uncirculated. Next, look closely at the edges, the lettering, and the image of the feathers. Any doubling, misalignment, or unusual marks could point to an error coin. Even tiny minting mistakes can make collectors excited. Now what about current market value? As of today, the standard circulated 1996 2p usually sells for face value only £2. But if you find an uncirculated version, you could easily get £2 to £5. Proof versions range from £10 to £20. And error coins, the most desirable of all, can reach into the hundreds depending on the rarity and how much collectors are willing to compete for them at auction. On online marketplaces like eBay, you can often see examples selling well above their face value, especially when they are presented in high grade or with a unique flaw. So what's the takeaway here? The 1996 2p coin may not look like much when it is rattling around in your change, but it is always worth checking carefully. With over 600 million minted, most are common, but there are always exceptions. A rare error coin or a perfect uncirculated example could turn that humble copper coin into a mini treasure. If you are lucky enough to find one in great condition, my advice is to store it safely, perhaps in a protective coin holder. If you think you have an error coin, you may want to get it verified by a professional grading service, because a certified grade can increase its value significantly and make it much more appealing to serious collectors. Remember, coin collecting is not just about money. Each coin tells a story of history, design, and the changing times of a nation. The 1996 2p coin connects us to the everyday life of the United Kingdom in the 1990s, a time of cultural change, sporting achievements, and political shifts. Holding one of these coins is like holding a small piece of that history.so. Next time you go through your old jars of coins or check your pocket change, keep an eye out for the 1996 2 pence. Who knows, you might be holding a tiny piece of copper that is worth far more than just 2 pence. And that wraps up today's video. If you found this information helpful, make sure to like, share and subscribe, because I will be covering many more coins from around the world, their values, their histories and their hidden treasures. Drop a comment below if you have a 1996 2 pence or any rare coin stories you'd like to share. I love hearing from fellow collectors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we uncover more hidden gems from the world of coins and collectibles. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of British coinage, and in particular we are going to talk about the 1998 2 pence coin from the United Kingdom. Now you may be thinking that a 2 pence coin is just small change that rattles around in your pocket or gets lost at the bottom of the sofa, but what if I told you that certain 2 pence coins are worth far more than their face value, and some collectors are willing to pay a surprising amount of money to get their hands on the right piece? Today we are going to uncover the history behind the 1998 2 pence coin, why it is important to collectors, what makes it valuable, and of course what its current market value is. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video you may find yourself checking your change jar for a hidden treasure. Let us start with a little history lesson. The British decimal coinage system was introduced in 1971. Before that, the United Kingdom used the old pounds, shillings and pence system, which was far more complicated. After decimalization, the 2 pence coin was introduced as part of the new set of coins designed to simplify the currency and make it easier to use in daily life. The design chosen for the 2 pence coin was simple yet elegant. On the reverse side, it features the badge of the Prince of Wales, which consists of a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, with a ribbon below bearing the German motto ICHDN, which translates to I serve. The obverse side carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which has changed over the years as new official effigies were introduced. Now, why is the year 1998 significant? Well, for starters, this was the year when production of 2 pence coins continued at a high level, but there are certain features of coins from the 1990s that catch the attention of collectors. One reason is the alloy used. The earlier 2 pence coins, minted between 1971 and 1990, were made of bronze. After 1992, however, the Royal Mint switched to copper-plated steel, which means coins from 1998 are actually magnetic. That small change makes a big difference for collectors because it divides the series into 2 distinct metal types. Some collectors specifically seek out earlier bronze versions, but others focus on the copper-plated steel issues from the late 90s onwards. The 1998 2 pence coin features the 4th definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Ian Rank. Broadly, this portrait is instantly recognizable because of its bold and realistic style, with the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This design was first introduced in 1998 itself, and that makes this particular year special because it was the very first year this new portrait was used on circulating coins. The Rank Broadly portrait remained on UK coinage until 2015, but the very first issues in 1998 are of particular historical interest. So, how rare is the 1998 2 pence coin, and what makes it valuable in terms of sheer numbers? The coin is not rare. Millions were minted for circulation, but collectors are not always interested only in rarity. Sometimes they are interested in significance. For example, the fact that 1998 marked the beginning of the new obverse portrait makes it a milestone year in British coinage history. Furthermore, condition plays a huge role. Coins that have been in circulation for over 2 decades will almost always show signs of wear, scratches or dull surfaces. However, uncirculated or proof examples from 1998 can be worth far more, especially if they were part of a Royal Mint collector set. Now let us talk about value. A typical 1998 2 pence coin that has been used in circulation is generally worth only its face value, that is 2 pence, but when you start looking at coins in exceptional condition or coins packaged in official mint sets, the price can jump significantly. For example, brilliant uncirculated 1998 2 pence coins can sell for between £1 and £3 depending on condition, that is already many times its face value. Proof versions, especially those struck in special sets, can reach even higher prices, often between £5 and £10 or more. Collectors prize these coins because of their sharp detail, mirror finish and historical importance. There are also certain error coins from the 2 pence series that can fetch a fortune. While most 1998 coins are normal, some collectors always keep their eyes open for striking errors such as misaligned designs, double strikes off Center strikes or coins struck on the wrong planchet. In some rare cases, error 2p coins have sold for hundreds of pounds. Although 1998 errors are not as well documented as earlier issues, it is always worth checking your coin carefully under good lighting, because an unusual error could transform a common coin into a rare collectible worth serious money. Now let us move on to the current market value. What are people actually paying for these coins? In today's market in 2025, the demand for British decimal coins continues to grow, especially among younger collectors who are rediscovering coins from the 90s and early 2000s on popular online marketplaces such as eBay. A normal 1998 2p coin in circulated condition typically sells for a few pennies, but uncirculated examples and proof coins are being listed for anywhere between £2 and £10, and sometimes more depending on grading. Professional coin grading also has a huge impact on value. If you were to send a 1998 2p coin to a grading service and it came back as mint state 65 or higher, the value could rise considerably, with some collectors willing to pay premium prices for certified quality. So to summarize, the 1998 United Kingdom 2p coin may not make you instantly rich if you find one in your pocket change, but it holds a fascinating place in British coinage history. It marks the introduction of the Ian Rank Broadley portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. It represents the copper plated steel era of the 2p, and in pristine condition it can be worth far more than face value. If you have a proof example or a mint state coin tucked away in a collection, you could be holding something that collectors are willing to pay good money for. And remember, always check for possible errors, because those are the real jackpot finds. Before we wrap up, let me give you a little tip. If you want to know the true value of your 1998 2p coin, do not just rely on general price guides. Check recent sales on auction sites, see what people are actually paying, and if you believe your coin is in exceptional condition, consider having it professionally graded. This is the best way to maximize its potential value. So there you have it, the story of the 1998 United Kingdom 2p coin, from its origins in decimalization to its place in today's collector market. What seems like a tiny piece of change can actually be a window into history and a small but valuable part of numismatics. Make sure to check your coins carefully, because you never know what treasure might be hiding right in front of you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into British coins, please hit the like button, subscribe for more fascinating coin stories, and let me know in the comments if you have a 1998 2p coin in your collection. Who knows, maybe you are sitting on a small fortune. Today we are diving deep into one of the most interesting coins in modern British coinage, the 2p coin from the year 2007. Now at first glance it might just look like an ordinary copper coin that most of us have probably seen in our change at some point, but as with so many coins, the real story lies beneath the surface, because not all coins are created equal, and some coins can surprise you with their history, their rarity, and of course their market value. Let us start with the background of the 2p coin. The 2p piece was first introduced in 1971 during decimalization, when the United Kingdom officially moved away from the old system of pounds, shillings and pence. It was part of the new decimal set designed to make calculations easier and to modernize the nation's currency. The coin itself was made from bronze at first, but over time, because of the rising cost of metals, the Royal Mint changed the composition to copper-plated steel. Now by the time we reach the year 2007, the coinage system in Britain was already well established, and the 2p coin was a familiar sight in everyone's pocket. But 2007 was a year of transition, and hidden within that transition is why this particular coin becomes so interesting. Many people do not realize that in 2007 the Royal Mint was preparing for a major redesign of the entire coinage system that would be released in 2008, when all of the circulating coins from 1 penny to £1 were updated with a new design that collectively formed the shield of the royal arms. But in 2007 the coin still carried the older familiar designs. The 2p coin of 2007 features the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet with a ribbon bearing the motto ICHDN, which means I serve. It is a design that had been used on the 2p coin since its creation in 1971. But here is where things get fascinating. Collectors have discovered that certain coins minted in 2007 show slight variations, and some examples are considered error coins, and that is exactly what sends collectors into a frenzy, because error coins and rare variants can turn an otherwise ordinary coin worth just 2p into something worth far more on the collector's market. So what makes the 2007 2p coin worth looking out for? One of the most famous varieties is when coins were accidentally struck using the old dies or with slight striking problems. Sometimes the alignment is off, sometimes the wording looks thicker or thinner. Sometimes the date is not perfectly struck, and every time something unusual appears it makes the coin more desirable for collectors. Also, condition matters greatly. If you happen to have a 2007 2p coin in brilliant uncirculated condition or in a mint set, its value will already be higher than face value. Now let us talk about actual value so you know what to look for in your own change in circulated condition. Most 2007 2p coins are still only worth face value and are common. But when you start moving into the world of mint condition coins, uncirculated examples can sell from £1 up to £3 for collectors who want to complete their date run. But the real excitement comes with error coins. Some unusual misstrikes or die errors from the 2007 issue have been recorded selling for anywhere from £10 up to £50 depending on the severity of the error and the demand at the time of sale. It is also important to remember that coin values are always connected to the collector's market, and markets fluctuate. Today a coin may sell for £10, but if demand spikes or a new discovery makes the coin more famous, its value could double or even triple. That is why many coin collectors keep an eye on online auction platforms like eBay or specialist numismatic websites where you can see the real-time prices people are actually paying for coins like these. Here is another layer to consider. 2007 was one of the last full years of the old style design before the new Shield of Arms design launched in 2008, so some collectors like to build complete sets of the pre-redesign coins, which means the 2007 coins can hold more significance as the end of an era. These transitional year coins often gain extra collector interest over time, especially as more people start to realize that these older copper-style coins are being withdrawn from circulation more and more frequently. Another fascinating fact is that from 1992 onwards, the composition of the 2p coin was switched from bronze to copper-plated steel, meaning that if you hold a 2007 2p to a magnet, you will notice it sticks to the magnet because of the steel content. Earlier coins from 1971 to 1991 will not stick. This is a quick trick that many collectors love to test when they sort through their coins, and again it adds to the fun of hunting through your change. Now let us think about the bigger picture. If you have a 2007 2p coin, should you keep it? The answer is yes. Especially if it looks unusual or if it is in excellent condition. Over time, even ordinary coins in pristine state become more valuable to collectors, and error coins can dramatically increase in value once more people learn about them. As with all collectibles, patience is key. So to summarize, the 2007 2p coin of the United Kingdom is a piece of modern history. It may look small and ordinary, but it connects us to the story of decimalization, the design traditions of the Royal Mint, and the massive redesign that was just around the corner in 2008. Most examples are worth face value, but mint state and error coins can be worth far more, sometimes 10 times or even 20 times their face value. And for collectors who treasure the history behind their change, this little coin is far more than just copper and steel. It is a symbol of the evolving story of British coinage. So the next time you go through your coins, take a close look at your 2p pieces. If you find a 2007 date, set it aside. You never know, you could be holding onto something that one day will be worth a lot more than you expect. And that wraps up our deep dive into the 2007 2p coin from the United Kingdom. If you found this video interesting, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more coin history and coin value videos, and drop a comment down below letting us know if you have found any unusual 2p coins in your own collection. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.